you can create one invoice to send to multiple customers. This is perfect if you have the type of business that tends to create the same invoice over and over again, but send them to different customers. Say, a lawn mowing service. QuickBooks needs certain information already populated into the customers you want involved in a batch invoice. So you need to make sure you have their customer profile filled out correctly. To do that, click Customers on the home screen. Let's double-click on a particular customer. QuickBooks needs to make sure that the customer has set terms, sales tax rate, and preferred send method. It doesn't have to be the same response for each customer, it just has to have a value. Let's check out the Payment Settings tab here. Here I can see they have a payment term set and a preferred delivery method. If I click on the Sales Tax Settings tab, they have a tax code filled in. Once all three of those things are set, click the blue OK button. You'll need to go through all of your customers that you want to batch invoice and make sure they're all set up correctly. Now, let's go in and create an invoice. From the home screen, I'll click Create Invoices. The first step is to click Create a Batch all the way on the top right-hand side of the screen. QuickBooks once again reminds you that your customers have to be set up correctly. I'll click OK. Now, we get to the Batch Invoice dialog box. If this is a one-time batch, you can select their name, click Add, and it's going to bring them over to the group. However, if this is something that you're going to be doing all the time, say I have a list of customers that always get a weekly delivery of olive oil, I can create a billing group. So the next time I go in and create a batch invoice, I can come into this billing group field and select it. I don't have one yet, so I'll choose Add New. The first thing I need to do is give my billing group a name. I'll call it Weekly Delivery. Click the blue Save button, and now we can start adding members. Because I just created a group, I have to start all over again and add their names. When it's all done, I'll click Save Group. The group has been created. So now that my billing group is selected at the top of the screen, I can click the Next button. Here's where we get to add our line items for the batch group. I'll leave it as today's date to send the invoice out. I could also create a custom template for this weekly invoice, but I'll be showing you how to do that in a later video. Now, let's include some items. These people get some deliveries of our great tasting olive oil every week, so I'm going to add those now. I can also add a customer message if I want. And then I'll click the blue Next button. Here is where I can set up who's going to get those invoices. This step is useful if one particular customer is away for a week and doesn't need their delivery. I can select or deselect anybody who's going to get a delivery or have it canceled. Here is also where I can see everybody's preferred send method and their terms. From here, I'll click the blue Create Invoices button. It's telling me how many are marked for print, how many are marked for email, and how many are unmarked. For example, maybe there isn't an email address listed. I can decide how I want to send it to them later. I'll click the blue Close button. If I have any other invoices to create, I can send them, but I don't, so I'll close out of this screen. My invoices have been created, and the ones I chose to send later will be in my reminders so I won't forget. Now that those invoices are created, they're completely separate entities for those customers. Let's click Customers to get into the center. If I click on one of my customers, here I can see the invoice that we just created. The customer currently has a balance because we created that invoice for them. I'll double-click on it, open it up, and here I can see the brand new invoice. Once these invoices are created, even as a batch, they act as completely individual invoices.